Hey everyone! It's no secret coloring books sell very well. And a popular type are pattern coloring books. Adults love coloring them to relax, and if you make them right, they can also appeal to kids. But everyone knows they're popular, and so there's more created and uploaded to KDP every day. If you want a piece of the coloring book pie, you'll have to overcome two challenges. First, how do you create a listing that will get found by people searching for it? In other words, what niche and keywords do you use? The second challenge is, how do you make the book stand out? Your book will not have social proof in terms of reviews. How do you convince the customer to choose your book over the many others out there? In this video, I'll show you a pattern coloring book phrase I found that is being searched more than 400 times a month, but has low competition. Then I want to show you a tool I found to make unique and beautiful patterns for your coloring book. I recently found out about this tool, and I'm super excited to go over it. So stick around for that. Okay, here is the phrase that I found. It is kaleidoscope coloring book. As you can see, there are 442 searches per month. And if we look at the chart, you can see it spiking in December at a max of 984 searches. Then it dipped in January, spiked a little bit in February, and took a small dip recently, but it's still pretty good. The average price for the book for this phrase is $8.52. There are 833 monthly sales with a monthly revenue of $6,250. The average BSR is 223,000, and there are a total of 2,318 reviews with an average of 4.5 stars per review. And here's the best part. There are only a little over 322 competing products. So let's take a look at the competition. And as you may have suspected, kaleidoscope coloring books are similar to mandala coloring books. Am I saying that right? Mandala? Anyways, this one has a BSR of 26,000. And you can see a lot of the books are really similar as far as patterns. Here we have some familiar books that we all have seen, I'm sure. 515 BSR, 851. So I'm guessing that people that search for kaleidoscope coloring books don't really know what a mandala is. So that's what comes to mind when they're searching for it. So when you're creating your listing, make sure you have both kaleidoscope and mandala in your title just to cover your bases. Okay, let's take a closer look at some of these books. This is the book with the BSR of 26,000. It was published in 2015, so it had a long time to sit on Amazon, and that's why it has 507 reviews. But I think it also helped that the book was only $4.99. And it doesn't look like it's a KDP book. So if we look at the designs, you can see that they are pretty standard mandala type coloring pages. Nothing special. This one has a sort of floral or snowflake pattern. Looking at some of the critical reviews, this person said the design doesn't really have a kaleidoscope feel. It's not what this person was expecting. This person doesn't care for the design or the paper, but we don't have much control over the paper. This person said not enough variety. I would have to agree with that. A lot of the patterns that we saw on the preview looked really similar. So that's something to keep in mind when you're creating your book, is maybe give it a little more variety, but not too much where it's a totally different look, or it doesn't look like it's a cohesive coloring book. This person said, difficult to color, many lines overlap. If you're wanting to do some sort of color pattern, it's basically impossible with this coloring book. So it seemed this coloring book was a little too complicated for this person. Here is another book that was released more recent. This was back in July of 2020, and it already has 86 ratings. And this one does look like it's a KDP book. The patterns on this book look similar to the previous book. Oh, that's pretty nice. And also this is more of a floral pattern. There doesn't seem to be any critical reviews, which is good, but interesting. And it looks like most of the people that gave reviews didn't write anything. They just gave it stars. So here's a book that I think we've all seen. I brought up this book because it has everything I think we should aspire to. Yes, it was published in 2019 and has over 10,000 reviews, but let's take a look at some reasons why. So Jade Summer is a popular author. If we go to her author page, you can see that she has lots of coloring books out there. So first thing is have an author page with all of your books so people can visit it and see what other works you have out there. Next is the cover. Beautiful colors, big text, that's easily readable on a mobile device. Next is the description. Look how long this is. It's very descriptive, tells you exactly what you're getting, a little about the author, and it has a call to action. Scroll to the top and add to cart. Now let's look at the pages. Yes, each design is sort of similar, but notice the consistency. The line weights are all the same. The white space for the buyer to color is really similar, so it's very consistent. And if we look at the back cover, we can see a preview of some of the pages. Now with our KDP books, we can't have this many pages showing on our preview, but we can show it off in our back cover. If you want to learn more about how to create better KDP listings, check out the video in the top right corner. Okay, now we know what the top sellers in the kaleidoscope niche looks like, but we don't want to copy them. What's the point of creating a coloring book that looks like a top seller? The buyer will always pick the book with 10,000 reviews as opposed to one with 0. So we need to cross-niche kaleidoscope with something else. It can be anything. Unicorns, flowers, cats, farting hippos, anything that's popular. A little later, I'll show you a tool to create cool kaleidoscope patterns with existing images. But first, let's look at some other keywords that these top sellers rank for. Then we can put these keywords into our listing, and so we can rank for them also. Using Helium 10, I put the ASINs of the top seller into the Cerebro tool, and what it gave us are a bunch of keywords that those books also rank for. What we're focusing on is the Cerebro IQ score. The higher the better. So here we have kaleidoscope coloring book. That is our main keyword. We have geometric coloring book, geometric patterns, adult coloring books, flowers kaleidoscope, kaleidoscope mandala, adult coloring books on sale. That's an interesting one. And so on and so forth. So Cerebro returned 10 pages of results, but not all of them will be related to our kaleidoscope niche. You don't have to worry about writing all these down. I'll take all the relevant keywords, put it on a spreadsheet, and post it on my Gumroad site for you to download for free. The link is in the description. Okay, so normally at this part of the video, I would have a word from our sponsor, but unfortunately, we don't have one this time. I tried to reach out to the Sloths, but they've been slow to get back to me. So here's a tool I was talking about that allows you to create patterns for your coloring book. It's an online app called Repper.app. I've seen other online applications that allow you to create patterns, but none of them are as flexible, powerful, or even as fun as Repper. What it does is creates patterns from a base image. Here on the left is the base image with the squares and rectangles, and on the right is a pattern that it creates. The actual pattern itself is created by this triangle. So if I move it around, you can see that the pattern changes. I can also resize it and rotate it. I can also zoom out to see more of the pattern or zoom in to see less of it. There's also different tilings, and each tiling gives you a unique pattern. And they also allow you to see all the patterns at once by clicking on this icon. Then if you see one you like, you just go ahead and select it and it will create it for you. If you're having trouble deciding on a pattern, you can click on this dream mode and it'll randomize it for you. So you can see it's moving the shape around and then it's going to change the tiling. Then if you see one you like, you can just stop it. Repper also allows you to save the pattern to come back to it later. For example, let's say I like this pattern, but I want to create more, so I can save it by clicking this plus sign down here. And it adds the icon here where I can come back to it later. Here are ones that Repper saved automatically when I opened up my account. So these are just test patterns. So once I have my saved one, I can go back to creating more patterns. And let's say I like that one, so I'll save that one also. This is cool for creating geometric patterns with a geometric base image, but you can also create organic patterns by selecting an organic image. Another thing you can do is go into the effects panel and you can adjust the color. You can make the image black and white for coloring books. And there are a few other settings here that I'll let you play around with. Okay, so this is cool to create geometric patterns, but it kind of looks like the other coloring books that we saw earlier, the top sellers. How do we make our coloring book stand out by cross-niching? Well, let's say I wanted to make a unicorn kaleidoscope coloring book. First, I'll go to my favorite site to get free images, and that's freepik.com. And let's say I want to use this image. So I'm going to download this image and upload it to Repr. And here you can already see that it created a pretty cool pattern. Let me zoom out. Okay, that's a little too far out. But this would make a really good coloring book. Let's see what else we can create. I'm going to use the dream mode. Okay, you get the idea. So here are some ones I made previously. And this is all from the same image. Here's an abstract one from the unicorn. And this is from a catty-corn image that I turned to black and white using their effects. A more abstract from the catty-corn image. And then finally, I took a dinosaur. So as you can see, with just one image, you can create endless patterns. To me, this tool is a game changer. Okay, so now that we have our patterns, we can export it. From here, we can move around our page. We can increase or decrease the repeat amount. And the size goes up to 5,000 for the free version and for the base subscription. But if you pay for the professional version with the commercial license, it goes up to 35,000 pixels. As for the subscription, there is a free trial for 2 weeks, and there is a hobby version for $4.99 a month, but that doesn't include a commercial license, so you can't sell what you create. But the pro version at $10 a month does offer commercial license, so you can sell it on print on demand, and it lets you export up to 35,000 pixels at 300 dpi. Links to Repr and Freepik are in the description, so I recommend you give it a try and see what you create. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe. It'll really help out with the YouTube algorithm and appease the YouTube gods. Until next time, keep creating.